So let me move on. Our next section here is e-commerce. I almost said WooCommerce. In fact, I did half say it. E-commerce, really big these days. Everybody's moving to some form of online store. I'm listing here just a few of the bigger off-the-shelf ones that we work with really commonly: Shopify, Magento 2, WooCommerce, and BigCommerce. But we've worked with all kinds of online stores, including some that were custom built. So it's, when it comes to online stores, we again have you covered. So what we have here is, again, the most common things that folks ask us to integrate, and this is physically moving data. So quite often we're creating a customer in our online store and pushing them into our Business Central. Sometimes that goes the other way. So if we were in a business-to-business situation, we might be creating and approving our customers in Business Central before we send them over to our store. And in fact, I worked with a customer just a couple weeks ago where they have both scenarios. They have a retail version of their online store and they have a B2B version of their online store, and we had to interact with both of those stores separately and differently. So one thing to really remember here, one thing that we don't always convey very strongly with SmartConnect and Popdock is they're wicked configurable. So whatever it is you need to do, we can usually do it. So if you have multiple accounts, even we had a customer, it was a long time ago now, you've probably heard me mention it on other videos. They had Magento and WooCommerce and Shopify for different aspects of their business. And we were able to interact with all three of those. So whatever your combination is, we can get to it. I'm not going to read each of these boxes to you, but hopefully you're getting a sense of, most commonly, regardless what the online store is, this is the type of integration you're looking at. We have been asked as well to deal with variants. We have been asked to deal with variants and RMAs in the past. So both of those are things we have done. Okay, on the Popdock side of things, we do have available to you, again, lots of information that you can share inside of your ERP that you don't necessarily want to move physically into your ERP. So we've got things like credit card details, right? BC is not PCI compliant by nature, but you may want to report on that, certainly if you have a client calling, asking, stuff like that. When we talk about order metrics, that might be some of the metadata about the order. So where was the customer when they placed the order, that kind of thing. So any data that I want to have available to my Business Central users from that online store, I can make available through a Popdock widget, and vice versa. You can see here that a couple things we've done with some of the online stores. Now, I will caveat this one. Not every online store will allow you to customize the screen, which means not every online store can accept a Popdock widget. But we have done it with a couple of them to show quantity available on hand in real time, or transaction history for the customer. So, what invoices have they had and have they been paid? Stuff like that. So, in some cases, the data doesn't just have to go from the store to the ERP. Sometimes it'll be the other way around. Okay. Now, you might notice here, this is a very similar slide to the one that I had earlier, except the word all data has been replaced with available. Now, here's why I say that. We have access to all of the entities within Business Central, but we don't have access to all the entities necessarily inside the online store. And this is down to the API that we talked about earlier. So sometimes a REST API doesn't include every single aspect of the store. You really just have to check with the API documentation or reach out to us. We can tell you whether that thing you want to integrate is possible, depending on the API of the store that you are in.